In a world where sexuality is at the center of popular culture and everyday life, it can be bold to question the conventional wisdom that promotes sex as an essential part of the human experience. However, it is precisely this audacity that drives us to explore the Stoic approach to sexuality, an approach that challenges social norms and raises profound questions about our motivations and desires. In this intellectual and philosophical journey, we will discover why Stoics argue that abstaining from sex can be beneficial for personal and spiritual growth. It is not a moral condemnation of sex, but an invitation to reflection and self-assessment. Throughout this journey, we will break down the reasons behind this Stoic approach, explore how sexuality intertwines with the pursuit of virtue and self-discipline, and examine the lessons we can extract to apply in our contemporary lives. The Stoics and the pursuit of virtue. The Stoics, a school of philosophy that flourished in ancient Greece and Rome, considered virtue as the highest human ideal. They believed that virtue was the path to eudaimonia, a form of lasting happiness and fulfillment. In this context, sexuality becomes fertile ground for philosophical reflection. Lust and emotional enslavement. One of the fundamental concerns of the Stoics regarding sexuality relates to lust, understood as unbridled and obsessive sexual desire. They argued that lust could become a form of emotional enslavement, as people could lose control over their desires and actions. Constant lust, according to the Stoics, could distract the mind from more important matters, such as the pursuit of virtue and wisdom. Self-control as a Stoic virtue. For the Stoics, self-control was a fundamental virtue. They argued that moderation in all aspects of life, including sexuality, was essential to achieve virtue and eudaimonia. They believed that giving in to sexual desires without self-control went against the principles of self-discipline, temperance, and wisdom. The distinction between pleasure and happiness. The Stoics also made an important distinction between pleasure and happiness. They argued that pleasure, such as that derived from sex, was ephemeral and often led to long-term dissatisfaction. In contrast, genuine happiness, based on virtue and self-discipline, was enduring and led to a meaningful life. The role of conscious choice. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of conscious choice in all areas of life, including sexuality. He argued that we must exercise our power of choice to decide whether we engage in sexual activities and how we do so. This did not necessarily mean complete abstinence, but rather choosing wisely and with self-control. Seneca and moderation in relationships. Seneca, another prominent Stoic, offered his view on sexual relationships in his work On the Happy Life. He advocated for moderation in all areas of life, including sexuality. He argued that sex should be practiced responsibly and without falling into excess or obsession. He believed that sexual relationships based on friendship and mutual respect were the healthiest. The pursuit of apathy. Stoic apathy should not be confused with lack of emotion. It refers to the absence of intense emotional disturbances. The Stoics considered giving in to unbridled lust and desire as disturbing inner peace and hindering the pursuit of apathy. In this sense, they advocated sexual moderation as a means to maintain emotional tranquility. The challenge of self-discipline. Self-discipline was a key virtue in Stoicism. Practicing self-discipline in the realm of sexuality meant resisting the temptation to yield to sexual desires impulsively and without control. It was a reminder that true self-mastery required constant effort and self-evaluation. The connection between body and mind. The Stoics also highlighted the close connection between the body and the mind. They argued that sexual desires and actions had a significant impact on a person's psychology and morals. A calm and disciplined mind, they argued, was essential to achieve virtue and self-discipline. Final reflections. A Stoic perspective on sexuality. As we explore the Stoic perspective on sexuality, it is essential to understand that it is not an absolute condemnation of sex. Instead, the Stoics urge us to reflect on our motivations, desires, and sexual actions consciously and moderately. They challenge us to seek virtue and self-discipline in all areas of our lives, including our sexual life. This exploration reminds us that Stoicism is a philosophy that invites us to question social norms and conventions in search of a better understanding of ourselves and how to lead a full and virtuous life. By considering Stoic wisdom in the context of sexuality, we can find valuable lessons about self-control, moderation, and the pursuit of true happiness in our contemporary lives.